Hey guys, I hope everyone's day is going well. Today I've got a very cool yo-yo to review. This right here is the Physix by Empathy YoYos. This is a very expensive, very premium yo-yo, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about it today. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. As usual, I would love to give credit where credit is due. I want to thank Empathy YoYos for sending me this yo-yo right here. It was super generous of them, and I look forward to seeing what they produce next. So to start things off, in terms of background on this yo-yo, this is actually Kim Min Jun's signature yo-yo. Kim is known for having some of the most insane yo-yo tricks in the entire yo-yo community. He's placed extremely well in competitions. He's actually one of my favorite players. I'll be sure to include his Instagram in the description down below, along with just a pop-up right here. So be sure to check him out, and I couldn't be more excited to be reviewing his signature yo-yo. Now, in an effort to kind of get you guys up to speed on what this yo-yo is all about, I'm going to include the specs on the next slide. You can pause the video to inspect those. Okay, so in terms of specs, the Physix isn't super irregular in any one dimension, but I'm just gonna run through them anyway. So diameter coming in at 54.5 millimeters. Doesn't make this the largest yo-yo in the world, but it's also not super small. It's kind of in the middle of the road. The width of 45 millimeters is really to my liking. You could argue that it's a little bit on the wider side, but I love my wide yo-yos, so I'm not complaining there. The weight of 65.1 grams is pretty middle of the road for most yo-yos in this day and age. However, you could argue that it is a little bit on the heavier side. I also want to mention that this yo-yo is made of aluminum, and then it has stainless steel bimetal rims on the outside. Lastly, this yo-yo goes for 142 USD, which is very expensive. That definitely categorizes this yo-yo as a very premium yo-yo, and we'll be talking about whether or not this yo-yo is actually worth the price later on in this video. Okay, so let's take a quick tour around the Physix itself, and we can kind of discuss how it was crafted. So in general, the Physix is a good looking yo-yo. This yo-yo comes in a variety of different colorways. I personally requested to have this kind of rose gold pink colorway, and I absolutely love it. I think it looks so shiny and flashy, and it has just overall a very clean look to it. Starting out with the shape, this is more of a rounded shape. So you can see here that it's got the stainless steel bimetal rim that's very thick and curves all the way around the yo-yo, but from there, it kind of has this really nice, comfortable, almost O shape that curves down to the bearing. So this is a very interesting choice. Most competition yo-yos in this day and age have a more kind of H or V shape, but this adopts a more O shape, meaning that the shape itself is kind of curved down to the bearing instead of having a very steep slope. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen to kind of give you guys a brief comparison of the two, but that's kind of what I mean by the O shape. Having a shape like this in general in the past has made yo-yos very fun to play with, but also very comfortable to hold in the hand. In general, I think the shape is very well made. It kind of suits this yo-yo's personality almost, if you could say that, and so I'm a big fan of that. Moving on over to the cup, it's pretty simple to be honest. We've got a kind of curved slope that leads down to a point in the center. It just ever so slightly juts out from the yo-yo, but it's a very kind of subtle protrusion right there. It's not a super large kind of bulge out of the yo-yo. In general, in my opinion, the Physix looks great. This is a really nice and well-engineered yo-yo. I love the look of the stainless steel rims and the polished finish. And in general, I think the shape and cup are just well engineered and well designed. Okay, so how does the Physix actually play on the string? This is one incredible yo-yo. Oh my gosh. So for $142, you would probably expect to have a very good yo-yo, and this one definitely doesn't disappoint. This is just overall a really solid yo-yo that is also fun to play with. That's the main kind of idea of the Physix in my opinion. This yo-yo is extremely maneuverable. That was one of the main advantages that I saw with this yo-yo, is it feels like you can just change direction really rapidly and very easily. So if I'm going through my fast tricks or even tricks that just cause yo-yo to redirect really quickly, it did them with ease. It almost felt like I didn't have to put any effort into actually making the yo-yo maneuver, which was a very special quality, and that's not the easiest thing to kind of strike with a yo-yo. Furthermore, this yo-yo has a ton of stability. So it's not the kind of stability such that you feel like, oh my gosh, this is just such an overpowered yo-yo, it's not even fun to play with anymore. It has good stability and long spin times, but it also does have a fun feel to it, and I think that's just a testament to the actual O shape of the yo-yo. In general, this yo-yo just feels a little bit more comfortable than some of the more competition-driven yo-yos that I've played with in the past. It feels like a yo-yo that you could not only use for competition and perform well on stage, however, you could also use it when you're not competing and just have a really good time. I've really enjoyed this yo-yo. I've had it for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and it's been the only yo-yo I've been using. I've loved it so far. It hasn't become stale whatsoever. For fast tricks, as you would imagine, this is a very solid yo-yo. Not only does it have a ton of stability from those stainless steel rims to power through your longer tricks, but it also, like I said before, has great maneuverability, acceleration, and change of direction, so that makes your fast tricks and rail combos a lot easier. As you also would expect, whips, hops, slacks, anything like that are very easy with this yo-yo. It has a bit wider of a shape, and although it may not be the most like kind of cut down V or H shape, the O shape still does just fine for catching slacks and doing more complex hops and arm tricks and stuff like that. The shape itself is still very wide and kind of opened up, so there's a lot of room to land the actual yo-yo on the string. Binds with this yo-yo were very good. I really didn't have any issues with the default response pads and some fat OT string. In general, regens were pretty consistent for the most part. I didn't have too much trouble there, and then binds were also nice and tight. It's also nice that they kind of curved the actual rims of the yo-yo a little bit on there so that when the yo-yo comes back to your hand, it doesn't like sting if it's coming back super fast. That's one quality in competition yo-yos that I hate to see, when the yo-yo kind of stings when it comes back to your hand, or if you hit yourself with it, it's really gonna dig into your skin. They did a nice job of making this shape a little bit more curved and natural, and so that makes it hurt a lot less if you hit yourself with the yo-yo. I found tech tricks to also be excellent with this yo-yo. If you notice his style, Kim does get into some more dense combinations, and so I can see why this yo-yo would actually be very suitable for him, because although he has those flashy banger tricks that we all know and love, he also has some more densely connected tech tricks. And so this yo-yo is able to power through them not only because of the long spin time, but since the shape isn't super irregular in any one dimension, it doesn't have a tough time fitting into the string configurations or maybe even snagging on the string. Now, I personally got this yo-yo in a polished finish, so it may not be the best for grinds. However, from what I see from their website, I believe that they do have some bead blasted finishes, and so those will probably be amazing for grinds since this yo-yo just spins for so long. Okay, so in conclusion, the Physix is just a solid yo-yo all around. It can do all of the complex, difficult competition tricks. Kim's style is just very strenuous on the yo-yo in general. However, you'll find with this yo-yo, you can power through some really tough tricks and even string them together, and the yo-yo will still have some leftover spin time. But the factor that makes this yo-yo so amazing is the fact that it feels so fun. It has a nice and round shape that feels comfortable in the hand when you're throwing it and when it comes back after a bind. And even further, it just has a really nice ring to it, and it doesn't feel like a stale competition yo-yo that isn't any fun to play with outside of performing on stage. Now, this yo-yo is super expensive. $142 for yo-yo is unbelievable, and this is one of the most expensive yo-yos in my entire collection. So it's also worth mentioning that you don't need to have a $142 yo-yo to win massive competitions. That's been proven over so many different years. However, if you've got some extra change to spare and you really want a high quality yo-yo that's just an all-rounder, it's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's not too floaty, it's not too brick-like, it's just a very well machined and well made yo-yo, this is such an excellent candidate. There's no arguing that. Overall, I'm super impressed with what Empathy has done with this yo-yo. I'm so excited to see the future yo-yos that they release, since I know that they'll be just as amazing, if not better. Alright, and that's about it for my review of the Physix. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. Also, if you guys are new here and haven't seen my videos before, hit that subscribe button so you can see whenever I post new videos. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.